What up guys, your boy Carlos and we're back with another one. Now today we're going over a vulnerable build. This is one of my favorite builds in the game right now. Even after the nerfs, it is still extremely strong. This is a mid-game build. This is what I feel like you should be building into right now. I have tested other builds and other builds are very strong, like Hammer of the Ancients, but this one is a no-brainer. It is very fun, very easy to play, and it puts out an insane amount of damage for the mid-game. Now if you watched my previous video, we went over the Ren build, and the Ren build is still very strong. What I've done to the Ren build is morphed it into this, because Ren build's early game, this is mid game, and then after this video I will put out an end game build that will focus around the Whirlwind. We'll go over Paragon points, what to wear, and what stats you want. So let's go ahead and get into the video, guys. Alright guys, just really quick, we're still taking lunging strikes, but I only have 2 points in this. This is just for mobility. I'll drop this later on. We got rid of Rend, and now we're in Whirlwind. I have 5 out of 5 here, and we went into Furious Whirlwind for the bleed, and then I came down here for pressure point. Now you want to max this out because we are doing a vulnerable build, and this gives a 30% chance to make enemies vulnerable, which allows us to do 20% more damage to vulnerable enemies, which stacks everything else. Now, moving down, still have Rallying Cry. I have 2 extra points here, but max this out. Come into Tactical Rallying Cry for more regeneration. And then moving down, we went to Challenging Shout just because it works so well, and we also gain Fury every time we take damage, and we're always in the mix, so we're constantly taking damage. Moving down, we're still taking War Cry, 1 point. I have gear that has 2 more points, so don't do that. This is going to work good for us because we're going to get 12% more damage from being fortified. I'll show you that here in a second. Booming Voice, max it out. I put 1 point in here just for a little bit of healing. It helps, you know, so if you don't want to put it there, you don't have to. 1 point here just to get to here. This gives us 18% more generation while berserking, which is really nice. Max both of these out. It's just more damage and then more crit. It's really nice to have. And then 1 point here for the CC, but really I'm going here to cut to the bone just so I have 18% increased damage to vulnerable targets based off my bleeding. Now, if you don't want to put a point here, you can literally put these points anywhere else that you see fit. Put them up here or here or wherever you want. You don't have to have them here. I just like where they're at. 1 point here just to get to here, and this is where we're getting our 12% increased damage on Fortify, just like I had in the last video. So pretty much the same here. Moving down, we got rid of Call of the Ancients, and we picked up Wrath of the Berserker. I feel like it's much better for Whirlwind. It just works so much better. So this is what I like. If you still want to run Call of the Ancients, you can. It works just fine, but this seems to it just works better for me. Also, I put 3 points in the heavy-handed. This just allows us to have 15% increased damage to critical strikes as long as we're using two-handing. And I feel like you should always be using two-handed weapons while whirlwinding. I've seen some other people do one-handing stuff or dual wielding. That's okay. You play however you want. I don't really think it's that good. You're going to get way more damage out of doing two-handed, especially with an axe, but do what you want. Moving down, we took Unbridled. Unbridled is really strong, but it can sap your resources quite a bit. So if you feel like you're running out of fury a lot, get rid of Unbridled and pick up Unconstrained. Unconstrained is really good, and it synergizes with this really well and gives you overall 75% more damage. Now you are missing out on the 135% core skill damage, but you know, this works just fine. I've ran both of them, and this sims very well. You're not missing too much damage. This works just fine. You're still going to kill. And as far as Paragon points, this is what I'm running. If you just want to like freeze it and look at what I'm doing, you can. I am running Exploit in this just because it allows us to do more vulnerable damage. I think it's really nice. It works with this very well, and it's easy to find the dexterity in this node, so do what you want. We ran both of these just to have them, you know, more armor, more strength. I went up this path, came across. Now we are using the weapon master tree. I spun it a couple times just to get to this. Coming up through here, grabbing all this. We have more raw power. We have more iron strength through here. You see that I stemmed all the way out through here, and that is just to do more damage to elites. This helps out a lot when you're fighting, you know, bosses and heavier targets. I may go out through this way and go out, or I might come up here to, you know, Brute. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure that out. But I'm also running Marshall here, and this helps us with shout cooldowns. So yeah, if you just want to take a look at the Paragon tree, that's it so far. And just quickly going over the gear, this is what I'm running. You can pause it at any time to see the passives. I just want you to look at the passives to see what we're running, what makes this build really work. Now they did nerf some of these passives, but it doesn't really matter because we're still doing a lot of damage. These are also pieces that I'm currently switching in and out. I highly suggest trying to find something like this and hold on to it, because being able to pull the enemies and put them on top of you really benefits this build because we want to stay in the mix and we don't want little outliers running around. I'm going to hold on to this and break it down and put it on another piece of gear when I get full on late game, because this is just mid game right now. As you can see, I'm still running Sapphire. I think Sapphire is the way to go with this. You can run whatever you want here. I like the damage reduction while fortified. If you're having a problem with health, you can definitely run rubies here, whatever you want. I highly suggest that you run emeralds on the weapons. Emeralds allow us to get critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies, and this is a vulnerable build. Quickly show you the stats. This is our core damage right here. Our vulnerable damage is right here with overpower. Overpower doesn't happen a lot, but vulnerable, I mean, this is just really, really good for mid game. As far as expertise, I said it before, I'll say it again. I highly suggest two-handers. I never run one-handers. I think they're terrible. You can definitely make good builds with one-handers, but you're getting a lot of damage out of the two-handers. And I highly suggest running the two-handed axe with this build just because it gives you more damage to vulnerable enemies. And in closing, I just want to show you what this build can do in single target situations against bosses. It's not the best. I feel like the Rin build that we put together is much better. I have switched back and forth to see what does better. If you are going to do single target, I would say get rid of Unbridled and pick up Unconstrained. I am running Unbridled here, and you can see that I'm constantly running out of resources, just trying to keep that alive. So Unconstrained would work much better in a single target situation. Alright guys, that pretty much sums it up. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and comment. It helps this channel out a lot and it helps me out a lot. In the future, I'm going to continue to put out more Barb videos. I will eventually work my way up to the end, and I'll put out a full-on in-game build for you guys so you can start tearing through all the crazy dungeons that you want to. Anyways, you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the future. Later guys.
Our roads cross again.